The Anschutz 8002 S2 is a German-made, pre-charged pneumatic air rifle that is specifically designed for use in ISSF and Olympic 10-meter precision air rifle competitions. It is one of the many competition-style precision air rifles made by Anschutz. It is important to note, however, that, as of late 2015, Anschutz has started to phase out their 8002 and 9003 air rifle barreled actions and replace them with their brand new 9015 barreled actions. I will explain the difference between these two actions later in this video. Although the 8002 series barreled actions are slowly being phased out of production, there are many that are still available on the current market, including through club purchases with the civilian marksmanship program. Also note that the 8002 air rifle featured in this video is almost 4 years old and has been extensively modified by myself for use in competition. In 2013, I purchased an 8002 from Champion's Choice. I chose this rifle because I had experience using an 8001 that my high school had purchased through the CMP. I figured that the 8002 would operate similarly and that I could use the Scuba Tank K-valve adapter which already belonged to the school. Also, the rifle was available in a left-handed configuration and was available at my budget of about $2,500. I received the rifle in an Anschutz hard case. Inside the case was the air rifle itself, a test target showing a group shot by the rifle, the instruction manual and CD, and finally a plastic toolbox with a fill adapter, spare O-rings, degassing tool, and hex wrenches. The front and rear sight were securely packaged in a styrofoam box. From the factory, the 8002 will come with an Anschutz 6834 sight set, 8mm riser blocks, two 68-gram barrel weights, one 125-gram barrel weight, and two 180-gram rail-mounted weights. The 8002 model I ordered came with a textured synthetic forend, pistol grip, and cheek piece. From the factory, the aluminum stock will come coated in a textured ceramic-based paint, similar to Cerakote. My rifle came with a silver-colored paint. Black and gray models are also available. The stock featured in this video has been polished for aesthetic purposes and does not affect the performance of the rifle. The aluminum butt plate is adjustable on the X and Y axis and is adjustable for shoulder fitment. The cheek piece is adjustable on the X axis and can be adjusted to accommodate for a canted hold. The cheek piece and butt plate can both be extended 70 millimeters away from their clamping base. Threaded collars are used to lock the cheek piece and butt plate carriers in place. The pistol grip is adjustable for a canted hold and rotates to fit the operator's hand. It can also be pulled back and tailored to fit the operator's length of pull. The forend is attached to the stock via a T-slot rail. Weights can be mounted to the T-slot underneath the forend. The 8002 barreled action features one of Anschutz's precision barrels. The barrel is secured to the regulator block using two set screws. The numbers denoting the model of action are printed on each side of the block. The regulator block can only feed air into the barrel when the bolt is in the closed position. Inside the bolt is an Anschutz S2 weight that improves airflow by allowing the valve to open up with little impact energy. By reducing the impact energy on the valve, less vibrations are sent throughout the rifle when air is discharged. The cocking lever is mounted on the side of the action. It can be switched to either the left or right sides of the action. From the factory, The lever will be installed on the side that corresponds to the type of pistol grip that is attached to the rifle. The barreled action also features a dry fire mode. This mode prevents the firing pin from engaging the valve and allows operators to simulate firing the rifle without discharging air. The air cylinder can be filled up to 2,790 psi or 200 bar. This is enough pressure to allow the rifle to discharge approximately 200 rounds of .177 8.2 grain wadcutter pellets at a velocity of about 600 feet per second. The 5065 two-stage trigger allows adjustments for the first stage travel distance, first stage trigger weight, over travel, and second stage weight. The trigger brake or second stage weight is adjustable between 30 and 170 grams. The trigger is set to brake at 100 grams when it arrives from the factory. The lock time is instantaneous, as necessary on a precision rifle. The trigger blade itself has a rotatable shoe and can be positioned closer or further away from the pistol grip. Rails for sights and weights are cut into the top of the action and front portion of the barrel. The markings on the back of the action are extremely helpful when positioning the rear sight. The Anschutz spec rail will allow all Anschutz aftermarket accessories to be attached to the rifle. Walther accessories may also fit onto these rails, however, it is recommended to use accessories that are specifically designed to fit Anschutz rails. The total weight of the 8002 as it comes from the factory is about 10 pounds or 4.6 kilograms. The 8002 is very well built. In the 4 years I have owned the rifle, I have never had a mechanical malfunction. The only maintenance I have performed on the rifle is lubrication of the O-rings and occasionally running a bore snag through the barrel. The 8002 is a phenomenal rifle, however, it does have some unfavorable characteristics. To start off, the rifle's center of gravity is directly underneath the air regulator. This is because of the amount of material Anschutz used to build the regulator. In comparison to other air rifles like the Walther LG400 or Feinwerk Bau 800, Anschutz air rifles tend to have heavier barreled actions. This can, however, be an advantage depending on your shooting style and body shape. The barrel attached to the 8002 action is about 1.5 inches shorter than the barrels found on the LG400 and 800X. This will require the operator to purchase a sight extension tube if they wanted to maximize their sight radius. Anschutz has solved this problem by including a sight extension with their new 9015 actions. The side opening cocking lever can be a problem for competitors seeking to use the 8002 in 3-position competitions. For the most part, this is only an issue for competitors such as myself who are short and may have a difficult time loading the rifle while in prone. If you are short and are seeking a rifle specifically for 3-part competitions, I suggest looking at a rifle such as the LG400 that uses a vertical cocking lever. Finally, for competitors who like to push their rear sights forward and have their heads very close to the action, the aluminum stock is not ideal for this type of hold. This is because the cheek piece ends far away from the back of the action. This will require the competitor to make a cheek piece that reaches the back of the action. Another option for competitors who have this type of hold would be to purchase another type of Anschutz stock that can accommodate for their hold. An example of this type of stock would be the 2nd generation Precise stock, or 1 stock. As I mentioned earlier, the 8002 barreled action is being phased out of production and replaced with Anschutz's new 9015 barreled action. The 9015 shares many characteristics with the 8002, with the exception of a few cosmetic changes to the finish of the barrel and the updated 5065 4K trigger. The 9015 also comes equipped with an extension tube for the front sight. The 9015 action can fit into all of the stocks the 8002 and 9003 could fit into. This includes the aluminum stock that I just reviewed. Although no North American air rifle dealer is currently selling the 9015 with the aluminum stocks, they will probably start bringing them in after they have sold their remaining inventory of 8002 and 9003 air rifles. This will conclude the review of the rifle as it comes from the factory. I will now talk about some of the modifications I have made to my rifle. To start off, I have added 3 68-gram weights to the barrel. 2 are positioned close to the muzzle, and 1 is placed below the barrel band. These barrel weights help balance out the rifle and also help to tune the vibrations in the rifle's barrel. On the front of the rifle, I have added a mech barrel extension, or bloop tube. The mech extension allows me to maximize my sight radius by having a barrel that is 850 millimeters long. There are 6 additional 7-gram weights attached to the top of the tube. I also have a 4mm riser with an AHG countable 22mm front sight. The larger diameter of the 22mm front sight is to compensate for the additional length the mech tube adds to my rifle. The canting ability of the sight allows me to establish a consistent cant angle when aiming at the bullseye. Attached to the front sight is a Gaumon adjustable aperture. To the back of the rifle, I have attached 2 shaft collars, 2 lead weights underneath my cheek piece and butt plate, and an additional weight to the back of the cheek piece. These weights allow me to have a relaxed support arm, as they compensate for the weight of my barrel and air regulator. I have modified my pistol grip by diagonally cutting the base. This is to prevent the grip from contacting my shooting colt while I am in the standing position. Underneath my rear sight is a center track riser. This is to allow my rear sight to be perfectly aligned with my front sight and to prevent my iris from being off-centered. The iris I am using is a polarized centra iris that is anodized in blue. The polarization helps me to clearly see my bullseye, even with undesirable lighting conditions. This is a video of me shooting a 3-round group using my modified 8002. The target is a 10-meter air rifle bullseye placed 10 meters in front of where I am standing. Once again, everyone is different. Your body type and shooting style will ultimately determine what competition rifle is best for you. Hopefully, this video will help you make an educated decision if you are in the market for a 10-meter air rifle. Finally, it is important to remember that practice and determination are just as important as having a top-of-the-line rifle. The rifle is simply an extension of your skill that allows you to participate in this sport. Your ability to integrate your skill with your equipment is what will ultimately make you successful. This video was not sponsored by any organization, manufacturer, or business. It is intended for educational use only. Thank you for watching.